Close window. Stop listening. Yeah, parts all replace this thing. Where do we begin? The heck? What the hell, man? Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's an easy fix. One piece of tape, just reset the power. And get this thing pulled away from the printer. I mean, it's saying ready, it's gonna print. Theoretically. Alright. Just says replace supply. It says ready. It had jam in tray 1 forever. And I just put this piece of tape here, which is just locking this free floating thing down. All the stuff broke off the sides. These parts are supposed to go like this. Somehow in here, and then connecting it up and stuff, and that just doesn't work anymore. It just does not work. I don't even know how it ever worked, honestly. You can see that even if this were inserted right here, it would be like that, and it wouldn't even reach this this back bracket area right here. And it looks like it's supposed to go all the way into there. So I don't even know how that was supposed to go before, but I think it's better just to... This is all good like that. I'm gonna use some better tape though. But yeah, this thing even fully adjusts still. I just use this thing mainly for envelopes. So yeah, if I put some really quality tape down the center here, it doesn't interfere with this. If the printer's not gonna complain, man, I mean, I can load paper and everything. This won't be a problem. Oh. Why is that happening? I don't like that. That's weird. Well, it gets kind of complicated then when you start getting into like being able to close it and stuff. Print something? Yeah, I probably should. Let's see. Not a bad idea at all. Wake up. Hello world. Hello world. What do you mean it failed? Let me face it at you guys. You can see better what's going on. Ugh. Okay. Stop listening. Alright, it is kind of crooked. I'm just thinking like... it would be kind of nice if we could like... I don't know. I think we should test print first. Oh! It's not going to print without being plugged in. Oh man, hold on. Oh my gosh! Jamming Tray 1's back. Oh. What if there actually was a jam? Should I check for a jam? I guess. Ugh. I don't feel like there is a jam. Hold on. Oh, and here's the error. It's back again. Whoa! Stop listening. Guys, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just kind of like using this time to clean up in here and visually inspect as I clean up. I have no clue what's going on. I don't see any jam. So I found this other paper tray up here. Maybe if I reset the printer and load that tray, it won't check tray 1 and then it will just start working off the tray 2. So that'd be kind of a fix, just to set up the other tray, and the printer would never know that there's something wrong with tray 1, which I kind of broke. I put my knee on it and I broke the whole door off. And I'm sure it has something to do with that. That's what started all this. I'd love to know what it is, though. I got toner all over this powder. It's leaking out of here. That's been there though. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to admit that, Mailbox. I will work on this printer for the rest of my life, and that's all I'll ever do again, rather than admit defeat. Defeat only happens if you give up. And I never got defeated yet. You think I got defeated by the laptop, but I didn't. I just set it aside for a time because I put as much time as I wanted to into that repair at that time, and I wanted to come back to it later. My projects are in a rotation. One project generally doesn't get to just be at the top of the to-do list forever. If it doesn't get done within a certain time frame, it gets bumped down, has to wait its turn until it can pop up again. That laptop is not something I'm defeated on because I'm not done with it. I'll spend the rest of my life coming back to that project until it's done, if that's what it takes, until the day that I successfully finish fixing it, and that's a process. I didn't give up on it. Okay, I cleaned the crap out of this thing. Besides cleaning it, I guess, I mean, we're wanting to take things apart, inspect, clean, put back. I mean, that's all that I'm aware of that you can pretty much do, right? Okay, I got it unplugged now. That way, at least, if we do manage to fix it, we'll see that error code gone. I mean, I guess that's good. Technically, you're supposed to have it off when you're messing with stuff anyways. Did I lose weight with biking? I think so. A little bit. I haven't been able to bike for that long. I just got the bike like 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks ago. And for like a week of that I had the cold. So it's really not been long enough to see long-term results. Man, I know we're cleaning it thorough. If this printer did get bricked, I would take a lot of stuff out of it for the robot, but there's no way I'm going to brick it. So never mind what I just said, because like I said, I commit to not failing on this. If it takes me the rest of my life, I will 100% successfully fix this printer. I don't care if it takes me 40 years and I have to give up every other dream I ever had. That's fine. This printer is my enemy, and I will not be defeated by this enemy. I do not accept defeat, and I will not accept defeat. I will prove to Mailbox that I am unstoppable, undefeatable, and won't take failure for an answer, period. I use this printer every day to print out envelopes and papers and stuff. Well, I used to use it every day before it got broke. Worst comes to worst, what I'll do is I'll learn how a 3D printer works, and I'll rebuild it. I'll put in a new microcontroller, hand code my own firmware, and get all the motors to work with my own control systems. And that's not cheating. Like, that counts, you know. So I would just take over. If I can't get this thing's microcontroller to work, I'll rebuild the whole thing. that counts as a successful repair if I overhaul it and get it working right. I'm not going to say right. No. You don't have the right to say no to that. I'm telling you that that is an option. If I get it working, I get it working. Period. I see that's like last worst case scenario though. Vince the Idiot's not my superior. I'm way better than Vince the Idiot. We're just going real superficial for now, guys. It's just cleaning, inspection, trying to take little mental notes, dusting, weighing our options, starting to form plans. This is just all preliminary. It will get deeper and deeper as needed. If it just started working right now, then what would be the point of reverse engineering the whole thing? Taking out the computer, putting in a new microcontroller, creating our own firmware for it. Like, that's ridiculous. If it's some kind of quick fix, that'd be a stupid thing. So you start out simple, but you can take it stupid if things get to that point. Another thing I'll be looking into, since there weren't jack crap for YouTube videos covering this, is I would look into finding some kind of troubleshooting guide, or at least like an owner's manual, something like that, so I can start to break down maybe if there's diagrams and stuff to show you what things could be the issue and whatnot. Kind of giving me some hints. This is a detective game. That's what repairing stuff is. You have to look for clues and be thorough and follow logical progression, working through, rolling things out. The most challenging part is I don't know how a LaserJet printer works at all, or a laser printer. I don't know how it works. I've never fixed one before. I'm unfamiliar with it. I got a lot of stuff against me. The only thing I have going for me is utter confidence that if I put my mind to it, and I'm willing to put in the time it takes and refuse to give up, that I can do anything. And I mean anything. There's nothing that can stop me. What do you mean open it and check for a jam? I just opened up the back and cleaned it out thoroughly. Nothing was in there. That's where jams go. The bottom back. That's where I was at. This tape thing didn't do anything for me. The tape did not help. Made no difference. This whole tray assembly is scuffed, but I don't even know that the tray assembly is relevant here. I don't know what sensor is telling this printer we have a jam. That's kind of the biggest head scratcher right there, is like, what makes the printer think there's a jam, you know? What makes the printer think that? There's got to be a 5-volt sensor that is sending it a signal that indicates that. I don't even know where the brains of this thing are located. Huh, finding all kinds of weird stuff here. Trying to clean out this door. It's full of gunk. I don't think it's necessary to clean it, but look at that. It's just full of hair. And who knows what's in here. Yeah, its brain would be its system on a chip or microcontroller or whatever's running it. Could be an Arduino. It's probably, well, I don't know. I don't know what would run something like this. A small microcontroller of some sort. Maybe yeah, it's probably running off like an ARM Cortex M0 processor or something like that. That will be its embedded system computer, and that will be connected to sensors which travel throughout the whole printer. If we can get a multimeter on those sensor pins, we could see which one's sending it a flag. It'd be like an open circuit or a short circuit. Either they're all open, and when something's wrong, they short, or they're all closed, and when something's wrong, they're open. It's either one or the other, and they're probably all consistent. So if we could find the bank of sensors that has all the sensors doing one thing except for one, then we'll know that that's the bad one. We can fake that signal using a microcontroller and whew. I just found a little metal part that looks like it should be on the printer on my lap. That's not good. What I was saying is, let's say one of the sensors should be reading 5 volts. And when it's not reading 5 volts, when it's reading 0 volts, the processor knows, hey, something's jammed, right? So we could just put a little Arduino in there on a wall wart, or not even on a wall wart. We could just find a 5-volt power rail somewhere in the main frame of the printer, wire it up to our Arduino. No, we wouldn't even need an Arduino. We could just find a 5-volt power rail and connect that to the sensor rail and have it read the 5 volts. Or if we need 0 volts, we'll just unplug the sensor completely and it will always read 0 volts. So that way we can fake its computer into thinking that that sensor is in the proper location. I'm thinking that would be a great workaround. Doesn't that sound smart? If it needs to read 5 volts, we connect it to a 5-volt source and it will always read that, regardless of what that faulty sensor is doing. Another cool thing is we can actually follow the wire of the sensor that's doing something different than the others, giving off a different reading with our multimeter. We can follow that wire to locate that actual sensor. And if we can locate the sensor, then we can see, oh, you know what, it looks like it's supposed to be bent down and it's bent up. Well, let's clean it up, grease it, get it bent down again. That's like the right thing to do. So that's probably where we want to head to find some answers, is we got to find the brains of it, where all the sensors of the whole thing lead to, and start measuring all the sensor readings, and find out which one is errant, and then trace that wiring to find the sensor in question. Since we don't have a schematic of the printer, we just have to physically go find it that way. We can't like just say, look at a blueprint of the printer and it has every sensor labeled on it, and it says these 4 sensors will be here, here, and here, and they tell you if there's paper jam in tray 1. And we could say, oh, that, and that, okay, let's go check each one at a time, and we can see the location on the blueprint and go find it in the printer. But we can't do any of that. Nothing's labeled and everything's hidden, so the only way I can do it is I gotta follow a wire, I gotta take stuff apart. That's fine. I kind of don't mind printing with tray 2 though. I don't even know how you set that up. I imagine I just gotta plug in the tray 2 thing and then load paper in it, try printing, and it'll probably just print right off the jump. If nothing's loaded in tray 1, it'll just default to tray 2. I don't know if in the printer settings you can choose which is the default tray or what. That'd be worth looking into, but if I just disregard tray 1 as being the faulty tray that I'd rather not use anyways, then that would be a very good solution. That would get me with the working printer doing exactly what I wanted to do, and I don't need the tray 1 period. I think that is an attractive option that would remove the need to get any deeper than we have to. That's just simple. I could just put it back, put everything back, no problem. Something could be an issue just with all the crap in here though. This thing's filthy. I'd be very interested to run a test print, at least, to see what happens if we just try tray 2. I didn't even know there was a tray 2, honestly, on this printer. Holy cow. Hi, fluoride. But there's no paper jam, Dimebag. That's the issue. There's no paper jammed. I've fixed paper jams on this thing maybe 30, 40 times. You open it up, you see the paper, you pull it out, the jam's cleared. I'm getting a jam signal with no paper jammed in it. Something's bent, something's stuck. Some sensor trigger arm is not closed when it should be open, or not open when it should be closed. And it's causing a 5-volt signal to be either on or off when it should be on or off or on. And that is causing the printer to say there's a paper jam when there's not. That's what's going on. I don't know which sensor it is, where it is. I don't know where the sensors are located. But don't worry, Dimebag, the scientist will not fail you. I'm not the failing sort. Imagine I were an electrical engineering student and this was my assignment, to fix this printer. With everything I've learned so far about robotics and electrical engineering, imagine if I were part of a society where this is part of the training that a student must undergo to prove his knowledge and problem-solving abilities. If I were a student, I don't get B's. I don't get C's. I don't fail. All I do is win no matter what. I'm just playing with the settings right now, guys. Reports, demo page. There is no YouTube video on this. I've used this printer for like 8 years, but I never needed to go into the menu settings for anything. I just print with it. I also use it to scan. Got a big mess of yellow toner everywhere. I checked every setting to see if anything stood out as something I can play with. Nothing really meant anything useful. Every setting in the whole thing I looked at. In fact, I was wanting to see if there's a setting where you can set the printer to use tray 2 exclusively or something like that. Because I tried putting paper in tray 2 and nothing happened. So I don't know what the heck's going on with that. Hey, if you guys can find a YouTube video that says how to fix this. So LaserJet 2820 with jam in tray 1, but there's no paper jam. I found a video that has a different printer. It's a inkjet covering jam in tray 1, but no papers in there. And that guy just shakes the heck out of his printer, takes it all apart, cleans it, and then it just works, and that's his solution. He says if that doesn't work, take it to a repair shop. For crying out loud, it's like a monkey making a video. Absolutely useless. Okay, it's cyan now. That looks fine. Cyan is good. Here's black. More yellow. You guys want to know what I'm referring to? You can see right there. There's yellow powder all over it. So I'm wiping that off. Like that. There's been yellow powder everywhere. I don't know what happened. I don't think it's related, and it's been like that for a long time, so I'm not too worried about it, but at this point I'm just cleaning the heck out of this whole printer because that's all I can think of doing at the moment. I mean, take it one step at a time. First step, clean the heck out of it. Alright, yellow. This one should be filthy, right? Whew! This one's a mess. You can see the yellow from where you guys are. So I'm cleaning this yellow. Okay. Still just cleaning. Okay. Yellow's looking cleaner. Let's do magenta again. You know, the engineering behind these printers is really incredible. So it's not really a waste to spend a lot of time looking at it and seeing how everything's connected. They're designed to be cheap and really well made and last for dozens or tens of years, decades. And the company Xerox, which made copy machines, actually was responsible for kind of developing the first computers and all kinds of stuff. If you look into computer history, history of Silicon Valley, Steve Jobs went over there and was blown away by the technology and wanted to put it into Apple computers, which kind of led us to that whole thing. Okay, well this is all very clean now. Quite happy with that. I'm going to do some research now. I was out of things to do, out of ideas. Now I at least have something. I found more cleaning. Cleaned everything I could before. Yeah, moving the imaging drum out of the way really opened up the innards of this thing quite a bit. Yeah, this printer was over $1,000, I think, new. It's a laser printer that's capable of printing like 20 pages per minute or 30 pages per minute. It's a very nice printer. I've been using it for close to a decade. Um, I'm not willing to spend hundreds of dollars to buy another printer. And I don't want some inkjet piece of crap. I can use this printer to print PCBs too. Well, you don't print PCBs, you print on a paper that then you could transfer off of transparency papers. You transfer that onto copper clad and then you etch it, and you can make PCBs like that using a laser printer. So yeah, this thing's got possibilities for electronics in addition to just normal. Plus it's a excellent scanner and copier, which is useful. And you're not going to get a laser printer scanner copier for cheap. I disagree. That's ridiculous. Especially one that can do high volume printing really quickly. This is a industrial grade super printer. Did I ever get the conductive paste? No, but I got the silver. The conductive paste coming from China, so that's going to take a while longer. I highly recommend using heat lamps, by the way. It's a different type of heat than a BTU heater. It's a radiant heat. Or, yeah, radiant heat. It's different than convection heat, where it heats the air. This is radiant heat heats whatever surface the light comes in contact with. So it's a totally different beast. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. Wow. What the heck? Is radiant heat thermal heat? I don't know. Radiant heat is what the heat the sun uses. It's light heat. Photons of light. Thanks for the bits, man. Ha! I'm undoing screws. That's when you know you've gotten deep. Oh, snaps. Got it out. This is what I took out, guys. I don't know what it is, but it's got like a wheel on this side which fell off. I luckily knew where it went and put it back on. It's got some spring on the left, or the right. It's got a green thing and a little roller ball right here. It's got some grab handle. I don't know what this thing's for, but I just cleaned it. What are you talking about? What's wrong with my voice? I think HP made a great printer here. I can't speak for everyone, but I've been using this thing for a decade. Never had a problem until I freaking fell on it with my knee. Busted stuff, and now getting some paper jam error pop up. So that's all on me. I'm not mad at HP for this. Paper jam and tray 1. Oh boy, oh boy. Do we have ourselves a problem or what? Okay. Alright, I'm ready for another round of just fiddling. Okay. I'm going to clean all the rollers, make sure everything turns. Do it up. Do it big or grow a wig. Close window. Stop listening. Right now I'm just using a Q-tip to dig out loads of spilled toner powder that has just filled underneath this toner tray thing. It's really bad under here. Okay, let me get out some alcohol. I don't want to go too far into this without testing, but at the same time, Q-tip and alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. Q-tip being held with a hemostat, so we can clasp it into place without having to squeeze really hard with our fingers. Okay. I love that I read a guy that said he spent days actually trying to fix his printer problem. I'm super down. That's my life now. Until the problem's fixed. I eat, sleep, and dream. Printer repair. That's my whole life now. Tell you what, man. When we fix it, it's gonna feel good. It'll feel good. Goodness. I don't care. Okay. Alright. What the hell? Ah! Oh, come on. Wake up. How does a laser printer work? Press return. What does that mean? I got a paper to go through. That's funny. That should be a really good sign, actually. Guys, it's actually doing something. Look at this. It says cleaning. I ran a cleaning mode. I just fed the paper in manually. I just shoved it in. I just pulled down on this part like that, and I just shoved the paper through and I heard things turning. And look, it's actually feeding something. You can see that paper moving through. And it says cleaning. So it's like something's happening. That's a change. I don't know, it's better than like jack squat happening, I guess. I mean, we're getting some kind of feedback. Alright, supposedly it did some cleaning. I don't know if the paper's supposed to look different or what. Ugh. Let me see if I can... Oh my gosh. Oh, it just printed, guys! What the hell? Guys, I just got it to print something. So, you're saying there's a chance? By the way, I have taped down the no paper flag. It's a little arm that comes up like... You can see what I did. Okay, so this... Stop listening. So this little arm comes out to here, and then it's got a little arm like that. And that's the paper loaded arm. I just taped it down to have one less wild card, you know. I wanted to start narrowing down causes of things being bad. So anyways, that told me a lot. It told me my feeder rollers work. It told me, heck, it told me the whole thing can work. So now it's just a matter of getting consistent results, not having to shove it in manually, I guess. I don't really know. I'm going to keep doing demo pages till the cows come home. I don't care, man. I like seeing prints work. That's got to be a good sign, right? I mean, that once you can get a print working, then you can trial and error from there without just being clueless. I now have something to go off of. If I change something and it still works, then I can change something else and it still works, and so on until I can get it all working in a reliable fashion without manually hand feeding. Now I'm noticing if I press down, on this thing, you can see it comes down a little bit. That enables me to feed paper through. I don't know, is it supposed to be able to do this? I mean, obviously, it should be able to do this without me touching anything, right? I can't believe I'm getting it. I'm getting some results here. Alright, menu, copy setup reports, system setup service. I think I did reports. Demo page. Config report, supply status, network report, usage page. I'm doing a usage page now. At least I think I am. Oh, jam in tray 1. You biznatch. I heard tick, 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 and then jam in. I gotta shove it in at just the right second, I guess. Damn it. Interesting. What the hell? Oh my god. jam. Got him. Another successful print. Okay, so the demo page worked. I think the timing of everything has to be just right. Alright, I need to talk out loud of every little thing I'm thinking now. Alright, I pressed down on this thing, freeing this thing up. Tick, 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 push. Tick, 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 push. So I had this thing pushed down and tick, 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 push, and I pushed. You hear a tick, 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 and you push. Hey, that one came out cleaner than before. It's in black and white. No more weird stuff. Getting some weird artifact though. Some type of scratch mark. Oh, but there's only two. There was more before. Used to be 3, 6, plus a bunch of other random stuff. Now it's just one, but it's black and white. It's interesting. This is evolving. Huh. Alright, well, I can tell you for sure that we've gotten it to print 3 times, so that's progress. Every single time I held down this, and every single time when it ticked 3 times, I pushed it in about 1 inch. Reports, demo page. Alright, so press down on this, center the paper, wait for it. Alright, so tick, 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 3 ticks, partial insertion manually, and then it takes. I'm going based on these sounds. I've got them memorized. Okay. Demo page. Hold it down. Alright, listen to the sounds. Ch-ch-ch. Tick, tick, tick. 3 ticks, push. And it works. Feels good to have it at least printing, you know? I just want to keep practicing and make micro changes each time. Three ticks, but this time I had the paper in far before the push in. It must have seen it. I just had the paper in an extra inch, and it immediately said jam, jam. Wow. It freaking knew. It could tell the difference. Dang it. Trying to run a test here. I need a narrower piece of paper. I think I see a sensor arm in there that is flagging me if I try to shove the paper in too early, which is ridiculous. Unbelievable. Let me just straight out give you guys a summary of where we're at. Close window. Stop listening. Okay, so this is where we're at now. I can successfully push down. Okay, I believe there's a feed roller and then there's a pressure lever that pushes up on the paper against that roller. If I push down on the pressure lever, we're going to call it, I can slide paper in with ease until it hits a backstop and then it stops. But when I do that, it hits a little switch on the left hand side that pushes down, indicating the paper has traveled to about 1.25 inches in. This switch is visible about 1.5 inches left of the feed roller. And I can show you that right here. Alright, we got the feed roller. You can see it! Right in the center of the screen right now, you can see it. There. That little switch. Trying to get the light to hit it. There we go. You can see the light hitting just the top tip of it. That thing will move. It's a little vertical rectangle spanning the gap of the horizontal gap that the paper slides into. That vertical rectangle, when you put pressure on it, it folds back and down and it rotates, clearing the way. And that's what tells the printer that paper has traveled that far. Now, that is about like 1.25 inches in or whatever. And if you have the paper shoved in that far, it's automatic paper jam error. But if you wait till you hear 3 clicks, click, 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 and then you shove it in and you cause the paper to trigger that little trigger, that tells the printer, hey, the paper is where it needs to be by this point in time. And if he would have waited even a moment longer, boom, paper jam. Because that thing didn't get triggered after the 3 clicks, then it is a paper jam. So it can't be triggered before the 3 clicks, and it must be triggered just after the 3 clicks. And you'll hear it. 3 little clicks. And then you have to shove the paper in, and then it triggers that little trigger at just the right moment, and then it just all prints perfect. So what I think is I see nothing trying to push the paper in at all, unless if I have the paper in and I release this pressure lever. You can see it moving up and down here. I got to push this down. I got to put the paper in a little bit, but not far enough to trigger that little trigger I showed you. So only about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch in. and then I hear the click, 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 and I time it just right, and I shove the paper through manually. It triggers that little sensor, which tells the printer, oh, the feed roller fed me in the paper, and it reached that first sensor, so I know the paper's on the way, and the printer's happy, and then it sends it the rest of the way through with additional rollers deeper in along this process, and those continue to carry the paper through, and then up and around, and then back up and through the top exit port. And the top exit port is up here. So, that tells me, through the process of logic, that this feed roller is not doing anything. It does not turn. It does not draw paper in. I see it's got rubber grips on the top. So something would tell me that these rubber grips, if they turned, they would suck a paper in real nice. And I've never seen this thing turn, not once. And I've run several prints pushing the paper in at the right moment myself. But this thing doesn't turn. Something's off. I think its gears are off the tracks, because if I pull on this thing at certain moments, this whole thing starts vibrating violently. I feel it vibrating really hard when I pull this little cam. And so that tells me that the gear is off its tracks, and it's click, 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 clicking against the gear that it's supposed to be synced with. But they're not stuck together, and so they're skipping. And you feel it vibrating harshly. So I've got to take this apart and line up the gears of this thing properly. That's where our problem is. How would I be able to access the gears? Wow, so thinking out loud really helped me out right there. I have like this whole plan and everything because of that. Just by talking it out like that, I was able to determine a lot of stuff. Oh, and just for proof that it does work as I said, let me just walk you through one more time. I'm going to do a test print. Right now it says jam in tray 1. Clear jam and press enter. I'll show you. Okay, now watch this. This thing's just hanging by its spring. Actually, I wouldn't mind taking it off. I can always put it back on later. Alright, so if I click the enter sign, it's going to try to print again, the test print. So to get prepared for that, I just need to have it seated in here, but not far enough to trigger. Right about here, it triggers the, whoops, your paper's in too far, because that little sensor gets hit. Let me, yep. before I mess about with that, let me just run another test print. Alright, so we can put it in just a little bit, but not till we feel anything. You have to back. So push it in. With this pressed down, center the paper, push it in until you feel resistance, and then pull it back half an inch or so. And now I'm going to press the clear jam button, wait to time it, and then shove it in after we hear the 3 clicks. So it's, we just hear like a fan. No, it's rollers. Okay, rollers. Okay. Full reset. Click, click, click. Throw. You heard click, 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 click. And that's when you push. And then it goes through. Every time. Oh, that's interesting. Close window. Stop listening. Each time I print, I'm seeing less of these lines. There's 3 lines, and then 3 lines, and a lot of yellow crud. The next one, there's 3 and 3 again. Here's 3, and here's 3. The next one, there's 1 and 1. The next one, there's 1 and 1. The next one, there's just 1. It was kind of centered this time. So that's odd that it's just been like kind of improving in that regard. But yeah, each one we're kind of paying attention to this. So you could see what I did. The timing had to be just right. Through trial and error, I was able to determine not to push it. If you shove it in all the way, it's a guaranteed paper jam. If you shove it in until you feel resistance and then pull it back so that it's only just resting under this feed roller, then it's not an automatic paper jam. But if you just hold it there and you don't push it through manually, you just leave it there, it'll paper jam because it thinks that it's not getting paper to come through. So that's how I was able to determine right before the paper jam hits, where you normally get the signal, right after the 3 ticks, tick, 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 then it says paper jam and it gives up. So that's how I determine, okay, what if I shove it in too early, it's a paper jam. If I don't shove it in after those 3 ticks, it's a paper jam. So right after those 3 ticks, as I hear it, I shove it through. So yeah, I basically cracked it. I know how to make it consistently print through that special timing trick. But that's I mean, what we could do is I could create my own feeder system or controller to this feeder with my own motor attached, and then I could set up an Arduino with a microphone to listen for that tick, 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 and when it hears it, it would actuate the motor to turn the feeder and shove the paper through at just the right moment that I've been doing manually, and then it would work. So I could interface an Arduino based system to hotfix this. But I'd rather try to fix the original mechanisms. Obviously that would be like an extreme case, or I could always just print one thing at a time and shove it through at just the right moment every time. So I have some options here, but the fact that I can consistently get results means the world to me. It means that we can troubleshoot. We have some place to begin with. We're not just lost. So I believe that these feeders aren't working at all. So that's what I'm researching right now. This gray thing has never turned, ever. You guys saw it. It didn't turn, and yet I got successful prints. Something's wrong with this thing. It should turn. But I'm still looking to research a little more on feeders themselves. I didn't ruin it, Mailbox. In fact, I'm narrowing down what's the problem. This whole printer got damaged. The whole... Okay, this has a whole door and a bunch of little plastic parts and stuff. And that door folds down and you load your papers in right here. I fell down and my knee came down onto this door and ripped it completely off the printer. It was on the floor. All the papers were scattered across the floor. I physically destroyed this front door. And it was an accident. I lost my balance, and because I have a bad arm, my left arm was holding plates of food. My right arm I couldn't use. It was in a sling. So when I lost my balance, I just dropped to one knee and I crushed my printer door. And there's a lot of sensitive parts there. Close window. Stop listening. So I'm doing a good job, I think, of chipping away at solving this stuff. Okay, so the gray device that we think is not moving at all, well, we know it's not moving, is called a pickup roller. And the little spring activated device that we're having to push down that's just below that is called the separation pad. It says that if the device does not pick up media from the tray, the cause is almost always a dirty or damaged pickup roller. In our case, it's definitely a damaged pickup roller. I think it's a pickup roller that has been unhinged from the gears. Alright. I just moved my monitor closer to me. And, just moved all my bare essentials off my desk and onto this table. Now that I'm working on a table, everything's changed. Uh, because I'm not going to be able to just move this table every day or something. And this is a multi-day project, so I kind of have to adapt to my new life of living way back toward the center of my room rather than toward the front of my room. So anyways, I think we're good now. Yeah, I'm fully committed. So anyways, I managed to find the repair manual, and that's going to help a lot. I'll be reading through that thoroughly. Might end up ordering parts. I'll be able to get part numbers from there. So, this is all good news. We're making headway here. I can get it to print consistently, but I know that the pickup roller, it's called a pickup roller, is not engaging. It's not picking up anything. It's not even moving at all. So I think it's been de-geared. It came off its gears or something. I'll be able to find out how to take apart the case to access that gear area. I might be able to remove the entire outer case and be able to look at things and see what's moving and really get some insight. And then we'll really get to the bottom of it. But the fact that I'm able to narrow it down to being the pickup roller is fantastic. And I was able to explain to you guys everything and show you guys everything up till now. So this is going to make for a great YouTube video once it's all edited together. So anyways, guys, I'm way over on time. Stop listening. I have no business streaming right now. I went way past. Things are out of control here. I'm going to have to eventually get rid of all this junk that kind of found its way onto my bed. I thought the printer would be done and we could put everything away afterward, but this is a long-term setup, so there's going to be a lot of cleanup work. But anyways, guys, we got some adapting to do to kind of put things away and get my room a little better organized now that our whole stream... I mean, this, what you're seeing now, this is how I'm going to be streaming now. Everything's changed. I no longer stream at my desk. I'm now streaming from the center of my room. Everything's going to be changed until this printer's fixed. The printer is right smack dab in the center of my room where I normally sit. So anyways, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat and I'm gonna... I don't even know. I might be able to watch one episode of... I believe I'm watching a show called Humans. So one episode of Humans, and then I'm going straight to bed. When I wake up, we're going to just jump right back into our normal routine, but the main project of the day, every day, will be this printer until it's done to our satisfaction. At least for the next few days. So, not abandoned at all. In fact, this printer is going to be taking over for a little while. Not completely taken over, but somewhat taken over, in that my normal project rotation is now off the table, because this thing is just too much work to get it set up and hoist it onto the table and get the table all working, blah 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 blah. Unless if we created a separate workbench for it at some point, like set up the table over here and move the webcams to that side of the room, then we could work on normal projects and work on that just once in a while, but I think we don't need to go to that length unless if this goes on like for more than a few days. A few days I can handle. So tomorrow we're still going to do square cutting, still going to do YouTube video editing, still going to do record keeping, still going to do my rehab for my shoulder. I should be able to pull my bike out to here and still do biking tomorrow. Stop listening. I should be able to do a lot of things still. All normal. Have a shower. And then main project of the day will be this laser printer every day. So anyways guys, that's the plan. And we're going to stick to this. We're going to make it happen. Alright, peace out.